Driven to Win presents Son of the White Wolf. Chapter 2. Massacre. By dawn, the sand was red, and no one left to scream. Let's begin. When Fräulein Olga von Bruckmann, known as a famous German secret agent, arrived at the tiny Arab hill village of El Awad, it was in a drizzling rain that made the dusk a blinding curtain over the muddy town. With her companion, an Arab named Ahmed, she rode into the muddy street, and the villagers crept from their hovels to stare in awe at the first white woman most of them had ever seen. Few words from Ahmed and the Sheikh Salamed, and showed her to the best mud hut in the village. The horses were led away to feed and shelter, and Ahmed paused long enough to whisper to his companion, "El Awad is friendly to the Turks. Have no fear. I shall be near, in any event. Try and get fresh horses," she urged. "I must push on as soon as possible. The Sheikh swears there isn't a horse in the village in fit condition to be ridden. He may be lying, but at any rate, our own horses will be rested enough to go on by dawn. Even with fresh horses, it would be useless to try to go any farther tonight. We'd lose our way among the hills, and in this region there's always the risk of running into Lawrence's Bedouin raiders." Olga knew that Ahmed knew she carried important secret documents from Baghdad to Damascus, and she knew from experience that she could trust his loyalty. Removing only her dripping cloak and riding boots, she stretched herself on the dingy blankets that served as a bed. She was worn out from the strain of the journey. She was the first white woman ever to attempt to ride from Baghdad to Damascus. Only the protection accorded a trusted secret agent by the long arm of the German-Turkish government, and her guide's zeal and craft had brought her thus far in safety. She fell asleep, thinking of the long, weary miles still to be traveled and even greater dangers, now that she had come into the region where the Arabs were fighting their Turkish masters. The Turks still held the country that summer of 1917, but lightning-like raids flashed across the desert, blowing up trains, cutting tracks, and butchering the inhabitants of isolated posts. Lawrence was leading the tribes northward, and with him was the mysterious American, El Borak, whose name was one to hush children. She never knew how long she slept, but she awoke suddenly and sat up in fright and bewilderment. The rain still beat on the roof, but there mingled with it shrieks of pain or fear, yells and the staccato crackling of rifles. She sprang up, lighted a candle, and was just pulling on her boots when the door was hurled open violently. Ahmed reeled in, his dark face livid, blood oozing through the fingers that clutched his breast. "The village is attacked," he cried chokingly. "Men in Turkish uniform. There must be some mistake. They know El Awad is friendly. I tried to tell their officer we are friends, but he shot me. We must get away, quick." A shot cracked in the open door behind him, and a jet of fire spurted from the blackness. Ahmed groaned and crumpled. Olga cried out in horror, staring wide-eyed at the figure who stood before her. A tall, wiry man in Turkish uniform blocked the door. He was handsome in a dark, hawk-like way, and he eyed her in a manner that brought the blood to her cheeks. "Why did you kill that man?" she demanded. "He was a trusted servant of your country." "I have no country," he answered, moving toward her. Outside, the firing was dying away, and women's voices were lifted piteously. "I go to build one, as my ancestor Osman did." "I don't know what you're talking about," she retorted. "But unless you provide me with an escort to the nearest post, I shall report you to your superiors." And he laughed wildly at her. "I have no superiors, you little fool. I am an empire builder, I tell you. I have 100 armed men at my disposal. I'll build a new race in these hills." His eyes blazed as he spoke. "You're mad," she exclaimed. "Mad? It's you who are mad not to recognize the possibilities as I have. This war is bleeding the life out of Europe. When it's over, no matter who wins, the nations will lie prostrate. Then it will be Asia's turn. If Lawrence can build up an Arab army to fight for him, then certainly I, an Ottoman, can build up a kingdom among my own peoples. Thousands of Turkish soldiers have deserted to the British. They and more will desert again to me when they hear that a Turk is building anew the empire of ancient Turan. Do what you like, she answered, believing he had been seized by the madness that often grips men in time of war when the world seems crumbling and any wild dream looks possible. But at least don't interfere with my mission. If you won't give me an escort, I'll go on alone. You'll go with me, he retorted, looking down at her with hot admiration. Olga was a handsome girl, tall, slender but supple, with a wealth of unruly golden hair. She was so completely feminine that no disguise would make her look like a man, not even the voluminous robes of an Arab, so she had attempted none. She trusted instead to Ahmed's skill to bring her safely through the desert. Do you hear those screams? My men are supplying themselves with wives to bear soldiers for the new empire. Yours shall be the signal honor of being the first to go into Sultan Osman's seraglio. You do not dare. She snatched a pistol from her blouse. Before she could level it, he wrenched it from her with brutal strength. Dare! He laughed at her vain struggles. What do I not dare? I tell you, a new empire is being born tonight. Come with me. There's no time for lovemaking now. Before dawn, we must be on the march for Suleiman's walls. The star of the white wolf rises. The bodies were buried, but the truth refused to stay hidden. Chapter 3. Drops tomorrow. Stay close.